Hey, what's up guys, Seth here, and today I'm bringing you the Tier 1 Qliphort deck profile. Now, I have to apologise right from the start because this is a reply video. This is the first time I've ever done this, but this is a reply video to a video posted by Asian Eyes White Dragon about Qliphort recently. And whilst there was nothing fundamentally wrong with his deck, it was the way that he was explaining things that is just factually incorrect. He was saying things like, if you're in a mirror match and you have Qliphort Killer, the only way they're going to get over you is another Qliphort Killer, which is just incorrect. It's not true at all. It's really not true at all. So I'm here to explain to you guys how to run this deck, how to run it with the mirror matchup, and also why we run the things that we do. Whilst you can run 3 Qliphort Killers, it is not smart to run 3 Qliphort Killers. If you can't do it in 2 Qliphort Killers, why do you think you're going to be able to do it in 3? It's like running 3 Obelisk Tormentor. It sounds like a good idea, but in practice it's just fundamentally flawed. So, let's get into the deck profile. We have 2 Qliphort Killer, as mentioned. It's, you don't need 3. Qliphort Tool at 3, Intermit Tramplings at 2, because he bounces the tool on a pendulum summon, in which case you can reactivate him and use his effect again. We have 3 Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon, because Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon is the best tech I've found. For some reason he just works. He works better than Card D, he works better than Upstars, he's the better card. We run 3 Qliphort Archives, we run 2 Qliphort Discs, 3 Qliphort Genomes, and 3 Qliphort Shells. The reason that we run 2 Discs instead of 3 is because he's not that great a card. It's a 1-turn kill card. Especially when combined with limit removal. And the reason we run 3 Shell is because he is actually fantastic. He's very undervalued in the Qliphort matchup. You see, if you've got a mirror match and you have Qliphort Shell, all it takes is 1 Qliphort Forbidden Chalice, and he's at 3200 attack. If you have Qliphort Archive in your Pendulum Zone, he's at 3100 attack. If you have Disc in your Pendulum Zone, he's at 3100 attack, which is a lot more than Qliphort Killer. In which case, Qliphort Killer only lowers the attack and defense of special summon cards. So this is why I say that this is a reply to Asian Eyes White Dragon's video, because the better choice to go for in the Qliphort matchup, in the mirror match, is actually Shell. He's the one that's going to benefit the most, and he's not going to get bounced by Archive, he's not going to get popped by Genome or anything like that. He's not going to have anything done to him. So the only way to beat a Shell with Archive on the field is to pop that Shell, to pop the Archive, or to beat him with another Shell. Or, of course, you could, in essence, use Qliphort Killer's effect and make him tribute something, but it's unlikely that he's ever going to allow you to do that. So, for the spells, we run Chalice. We run Limit Removal because it's pretty self-explanatory. He'll hit 5600 attack, which is enough for a 1-turn kill when he can attack twice and inflict piercing damage. We run My Body as a Shield because it just seems to be one of these things where players love to run Bottomless Trap Hole and seem to always be getting it when you want a Pendulum Summon. And this can't be negated by Wiretap, which everyone seems to be running. So I like My Body as a Shield. It's a great card. It's a fantastic card and it's a quick play spell. We run 2 Pot of Duality because I don't find Upstart to be a good choice. You don't want to make your opponent gain life points. I don't think it's a good idea in this particular deck. Pot of Duality is just like Card D, except for it adds exactly what you want, and it doesn't waste your normal summon like Card D does. So we run Precious Cards from Beyond. This is a fantastic card and very undervalued. This is a Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Mon's card. This is back when it was fresh out the gate. When Yu-Gi-Oh was fresh out the gate, Precious Cards from Beyond existed. Now, when you tribute summon a monster using 2 or more tributes, you draw 2 cards. It's a continuous spell card. So, one thing I will mention is the Japanese text for this is that it requires 2 bodies, which means 2 monsters. So the ruling is you have to tribute 2 monsters. If you use Qliphort and Qliphort Killer, you won't get sorry, if you use sack Qliphort and tribute Qliphort shell to summon, you know, something, then you won't get pressure cards from Beyond's effect. You have to summon two. You have to tribute 2 monsters for precious cards from Beyond. But here's where this card comes in. The Monarch Qliphort. You can tribute your opponent's monsters to activate precious cards from Beyond. So if you tribute summon a shell with your opponent's monster and a Qliphort monster you control, you'll get the precious cards from Beyond effect to draw 2 cards. So that's why we run precious cards from Beyond, and it doesn't limit you like Card D does. We only run it at 1 because it's one of those things that when you've got the advantage, you get more advantage, whereas if you're behind, it's not particularly great, but it can actually save you. So we run 3 sack Qliphort and we run 3 Summoner's Art. We run the 2 Monarch Qliphort. We run 1 App Qliphort because sometimes your opponent is a douchebag and has like 2 MSTs, and you activate tool, you activate Summoner's Art to grab another tool, and he MSTs your first tool and he MSTs your second tool, in which case you're struggling to get your third tool from sack Qliphort. Then you activate it and you finally get your effect off, in which case you add App Qliphort to your hand just in case he activates something like Facing the Shadows, and he drops Lizard and he drops Dragon and pops your last tool, which you just don't want. We run 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, which is obviously self-explanatory because it's great for the mirror matchup, it's great for, say, Nephilim, it's great for Tellarknights. We run 1 Qliphort Tran because it's searchable and it negates the effects of all normal summon Qliphort monsters. So if they, you have to remember that this also affects your opponent's monsters, so if they tribute summon Qliphort Disc, you can negate his effect with Qliphort Tran. But at the same time, if you normal summon without tribute a Qliphort Shell, he will go up to 3100 attack because it will negate his effects, and he'll go to 2800 attack and gain 300 attack from Qliphort Tran. We run 1 Sealing Ceremony of Mokuton. This is a fantastic card. We run 1 Solar Morning, and I'll go back to this ceremony. Ceremony is such a great card because it's unexpected, it banishes your opponent's monsters, it's great for the Light Swarm matchup, it's great for the Shaddoll matchup, and in general it's just a fantastic card. You know, it tributes your Qliphort monsters. So say you pendulum summon a Genome and your opponent activates Space Time Trap Hole. You could use Sealing Ceremony of Mokuton and tribute that Genome, and then you could pop one of his other spell and trap cards whilst keeping your Genome in your extra deck rather than it going to your main deck. It's a good card and it's once per turn, which means your turn or your opponent's turn. So it's a fantastic card. It's definitely a fantastic card, and you really should run it. I think you should be running it because it does lock down your opponent and make sure that you can get your plays off. So the extra deck is whatever you want your extra deck to be. I would suggest running rank 5, rank 4s and rank 6s. It's just a smart idea, and I would definitely run the Volcasaurus for the tools. You know, rank 4s are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you've got a face-up spell card in your Pendulum Zone, you can run Heartland Draco, you've got 101, etc, etc. For your side deck, it's really what you want it to be. I've got a side deck that's all over the place at the minute, you know, but as I said before, guys, how you want to run your main deck is up to you. You can switch out cards, you can switch out Pot of Dualities for the Card Ds if you feel that's the way you want to play. You can take out precious cards from Beyond. You could put in more MSTs, if that's how you want to play it. The fact is, I don't fear my opponent's back row because my cards will go to the extra deck anyway, and I have cards like Sealing Ceremony of the Mokuton, I have Qliphort Tran, and I've got My Body's Swag. So I've got all these cards that basically stop my opponent from really taken full advantage of my lack of MSTs, and it stops me running into artifacts because they've got to start popping their own cards for me to even be concerned. And if I normal summon a Qliphort genome, or tribute summon a Qliphort genome and it's level 6, it's a higher level than the Qliphort, it's higher level than the artifact Moral Tech. One thing I will mention before I end this video, guys, is one other deck choice that I've seen on Asna Asian Eyes White video, Asian Eyes White Dragons video, is that he ran Cyber Dragon. Now that sounds like a great idea in theory because it helps you with the mirror matchup. It helps you to summon Khmer Tech Fortress. However, that's a second turn play. That is when you get the second turn and your opponent goes off. However, if you draw that late in the game, or even in mid game after you've already activated Tool and or activated a, say, Disc or Archive in your Pendulum Zone, you cannot special summon any monsters except Qliphort monsters. That is a condition and you can't get away from it unless you use something like intermittent tramplings. However, if you've got them on the field, you know, you're not gonna be able to special summon Cyber Dragon. You're not gonna be able to pendulum summon Cyber Dragon. So why run Cyber Dragon? Why would you run Cyber Dragon at all? Because you're never gonna summon him. It slows down your deck, and he's really not good first turn either because your opponent's not gonna control any monsters. You can pendulum summon him, but it's unlikely that you're gonna ever pendulum summon him because all of your monsters are Qliphort monsters of high scales. And all of them have that condition that you can't special summon any monsters except Qliphort monsters. So there you go, guys. That is the tier 1 Qliphort deck profile. If you really like this video, please comment, like and subscribe and share this video. It really helps. And this is Seth punching out.